Bitcoin is a risk asset. Bitcoin is not a substitute for fiat currency. I think that the comment was digital gold. I wouldn't call it that. Bitcoin's purely a risk asset. Bitcoin is something that you own when risk is up, when risk appetite is up. And the other thing is Bitcoin does the best when liquidity is flush. We're seeing liquidity come out of the market. Treasury liquidity is declining during tax season, probably temporary given it's an election year. But as liquidity declines, Bitcoin recently hit an overbought level. You're going to see Bitcoin suffer from that. But I would never want to own Bitcoin in lieu of the dollar or other fiat currencies because I was concerned about the fiscal situation.
But that is the entire argument that Bitcoin bulls make. Do you think it's time to put that to rest? What are they seeing? And when does it maybe act like a safe haven?
Bitcoin bulls are talking their book because they're invested in Bitcoin and they want to see it go up. Personally, I've yet to see it. At some point in time, if cryptocurrency becomes regulated by the central banks around the world, that'll be a different story. But then it won't be nearly as volatile as it is today. And you won't have the opportunity for the gains you have now. But
what is up, good people? Jungle Inc. here. Hope you're doing well. You heard that financial advisor grappling with the idea of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, how we should look at this asset class. Is it a risk-on asset? Is it some sort of hedging instrument? Is it a storage of value? Like, how should we think about crypto? And of course, it's his opinion that it's simply a risk-on asset. And I would argue it depends on your time horizon. Of course, if there is volatility in the financial markets, you're not going to hedge against that with crypto. Probably crypto will be even more volatile. But over the long term, is crypto a hedge against irresponsible fiscal policy? I think that's exactly what we've been seeing. When you look at the price of Bitcoin compared to your buying power of the dollar, a lot of that, some of it, of course, is due to network adoption and all of this kind of stuff, but a lot of it is quite simply irresponsible fiscal policy. Is it a hedge against geopolitical risk? Well, of course, it is a global financial network, and crypto at large is much the same. You're not tied to the problems and issues of one singular, region. We saw this during the last bull run when XRP was under attack by the U.S. government. Delisted from every major U.S. exchange, but you had value flows from this global financial network where XRP was able to get up there quite high in market cap, up to $1.80 a coin or something like that. So that's just one example of being able to hedge between, geopolitical issues, irresponsible fiscal policy, things of this nature. Right now, we're seeing crypto markets fairly red. Bitcoin down about 5.5%, Ethereum down about 6%, XRP ain't gonna miss a good dipping opportunity. It's down about 4%. We'll have to watch things develop. Is this just the market's cooling off a little bit after some extended growth? Yeah. Are people scared about what's going on out there in the global economy? And here when you look at the U.S. and real sticky inflation, and we were expecting lots of rate cuts, and now we may not get as many or any, is what they're at least telling us. I think they're going to have to, but people are concerned out there, and we're starting to see that reflected in the broader market, the tech sector, and then of course cryptocurrencies. We'll see it play out. Either we will rebound and we'll continue onwards and upwards, or we'll get some great buying opportunities. I'm all right with either one. Now, I'm seeing a lot of, arguments and opinions here about XRP and its quote-unquote legal clarity. People saying that the latest Coinbase ruling puts that clarity at jeopardy. Let's take a look at this and break it down the best we can. XRP News today, scrutiny over Coinbase ruling intensifies amid SEC versus Ripple battle. The article states the SEC versus Coinbase could set a legal precedent before an SEC appeal against the programmatic sales of the XRP ruling. And I've been saying for a while, when you look at cryptocurrencies, it is a whole asset class. The Coinbase case is bigger than Ripple. That was specifically tailored to XRP. But these exchange cases, that's the whole market, and it's more complicated, and it's dealing with more assets. Let's be clear on this point. Judge Torres's ruling is clean and crystal clear as it gets. XRP, when it trades in the secondary market, irregardless of who's doing the buying and the selling, whether it's Ripple and me or you and someone else, it doesn't matter. It's the trade of a commodity. It is not required to be registered, and that is the law of the land. Now, are we going to call that legal clarity? Well, we could go to an appeals and that could be overturned. We could have other court cases that are contradictory. We could have, new laws come out in this country that state, you know what? If you're a crypto asset and you're part of the main team of developers and promoters, you have to register those. Like, things can change, of course, but as of today, as of this moment, the only opinion that matters regarding XRP is Judge Torres, and she left no room for interpretation. Now, people are making a big fuss about the Coinbase ruling. Understand what that was. Ripple, they weren't able to toss out secondary market sales. When they tried to do so in their court case, they had to go through the full gambit of discovery and arguing in court. And, they're going to be very careful here. These judges are not going to be quick to toss out an SEC court case. They're going to say, look, you're going to have to go through this process, and this is to be expected. This wasn't some sort of dominating victory. This was what is to be expected 99.5 times out of 99.5 times. Like, this is just the way it's going to work. You're going to have to go to court. You're going to have to go through discovery. You're going to have to argue your case in front of that judge. Further, Judge Torres made it clear this is specific to the facts and circumstances of Ripple and XRP, the digital asset. This should not be the Bible of all crypto trade. So you can't just go out there waving this ruling and saying, well, just toss out this court case. We're talking about, I think, 13 various assets with their own facts and circumstances. This is a much bigger case, more complicated, and they're going to have to go through the process here. And it's a long one, and I'm sure it's going to be a vicious one. And even as dominating as Ripple was, and they won most of those hearings, you tuned in, you listened to them, you saw how that played out, they still were guilty of almost $700 million in illegal, unregistered securities offerings. That's the fact, Jack. Maybe it's not fair, maybe it's not right, but that's the legal standard here. Is Coinbase, with a multitude of assets trading on their exchanges, with all these different facts and circumstances, some have staking, different services Coinbase offers, do you think they have some violations there? Probably. Most likely. But at the end of that case, we're going to be able to stack it up against the Ripple ruling and, other court cases in some clarity with a wide variety of facts and players and opinions by different judges will start to give us actual clarity here. And then by the time they get there, probably Congress will actually write some laws and it'll just make it all, a waste of time. Most people that disagree with Judge Torres, they just don't like the result. They don't say she was wrong from a legal standpoint. They say the result doesn't make sense. That, you know what? You have institutions and they're protected in these facts and circumstances, but the secondary market, the people we typically want to protect and look after, well, they get nothing. They're free to do whatever they want. Well, I think it shows that our current laws make no sense, that we need updated standards. Judge Torres, she didn't rule the way she wanted the law to be. She ruled by the letter of the law as it states today. Does XRP have clarity? Yes, from Judge Torres' ruling, unless an appeals overturns that. Other court cases, build up better, case law on the SEC side, and maybe they go up the chain to appeals, or maybe Congress writes new laws. Who knows how this plays out, but as of today, it's crystal clear. XRP is free to trade on the secondary market with no registration. If Gary thinks that's a wrong decision, take it to court, take it up with the judge. $2 billion in Silk Road Bitcoin that was seized by the DOJ. This is a really interesting case. Well, they just moved that to a new wallet. What are they getting ready to do? Are they trying to cash in on some high prices? Like, what's the deal with this? Is this part of their security protocol? And if you've never seen this James Zong, he's such an interesting dude. Look him up on YouTube. There's a documentary about him. Essentially, somehow he absconded with a ton of Bitcoin from the Silk Road. And he's been sitting on it all these years. No one knew who he was. And he lived in this little college town. And he would just, party and make it rain. And no one really know why he had money. Someone broke into his house, stole a lot of money, like 400 grand cash. And he called the police. This guy called the police because someone stole his stolen funds. Like, how crazy is that? You don't get any dumber. When the police knock on his door because they want to know, what the heck do you have 400,000 cash in your house for? Instead of saying it's none of your business, he invites him in, showing him around, showing him his computer. This guy was just lonely, and he was happy to, chit-chat with the police. At least it's better than nothing, Anyway, they eventually figure out that this guy has all of these Bitcoins from the Silk Road, and he's arrested. They seized those funds, and now the government is sitting on a lot of Bitcoin here. And again, what are they trying to do? It's not so scary as in the past. Like, if they want to sell that, I'm sure there's a buyer out there, or a few buyers. They could sell OTC without affecting the market. This type of news, when we had a much smaller market, used to be quite scary. Whether it's the Silk Road or it was Mt. Gox or one of these other situations, you had to worry, are they getting ready to dump? Personally, myself, not a big deal. The market will absorb these types of values. The last article, as we've seen this crypto slide, Ethereum slides near 3-year low against Bitcoin amid crypto market pullback. There's a lot of exciting things, a lot of upgrades coming for Ethereum. But I've been saying for a while, I'm not as bullish on Ethereum's value in comparison to Bitcoin. I think it ran a little bit hot. There's a lot to like what's going on with Ethereum right now, but personally myself, if I had to have one or the other, I think Bitcoin is at a better valuation. Galaxy Digital head of research Alex Thorne predicts that the Ethereum Bitcoin has not reached its yearly lows yet. He said that, we had the Bitcoin halving as a bullish catalyst coming up here pretty quickly, and the potential of an Ethereum ETF denial, and of course an Ethereum court case from the SEC, and also every competitor in the world that's going after Ethereum. I like Bitcoin better at this point in time. I know Minus Wells, he's more bullish on Ethereum. Both great assets, going to do well over the long term. Let me know down below what you like better, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or something else. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.